Hey, it's PMR. I'm in Coppell, Texas with my friend David Ballering, who has brought me in. I flew in yesterday to help him with a big shoot today. And this is a significant amount of gear that we've hauled into this little elementary school gym. We have actually 15 FJ400 lights in play right now. I'm going to keep breaking into this video to kind of explain more technical stuff about what we were doing. So we used a total of 15 FJ400 units. Most of them were this type. We had 11 of these. These are the original ones, and then we had 4 of the 2 versions. These are the ones that just came out recently. It should be obvious, but all these units are backwards and forwards compatible regarding groups and channels and all that kind of stuff, so it doesn't matter. What we're doing is we're shooting headshots, full-length body shots, and team photos of 41 soccer teams. So it's a pretty major deal. So basically what we've got set up here is we have 3 full-length shooting stations. I'm in the first one. I'm on channel 27. Next to me is David, who's on channel 7. And then Eddie down there, he's actually shooting right now. He's on channel 5. And then at the very end, we've got a team shot thing, and that's channel 1. So even though we've got all these lights in play, each one is in a discrete enclosed system. So it's really simple. So I want to be a little more specific about the groups and channels. Groups have to do with lighting that is all being used on the same picture. So I use A in the front, B in the back lights in this instance. I use C, sometimes even D, depending on what the shoot is I'm doing. But they have nothing to do with the channels. So you can have many photographers working with a whole bunch of Westcott gear right next to each other and not interrupting each other and not using each other's strobes. So it's really cool. Each setup has 4 lights for the headshots and the full length. We're just using simple umbrellas. I always make my primary light A, always group A, always. And then my backlights, which are the 1x3 light boxes, the rapid boxes, those are on B. So I always know I can just immediately look at my remote and figure out what I'm doing. If I have a hair light, that'd be C or something else. But so basically it's a very simple setup times 3. So we have 12 lights in play just for full length and stuff like that. So each headshot station had 4 lights. There were 2 400s in the front with the umbrellas, and then 2 in the back that were with the 1x3 rapid boxes. You'll notice that we've got AC power unit cords going to the batteries, so we're actually charging the batteries because we're using the modeling lamps in the front lights. And then on the back, on the B set, we're not doing that. We're just using battery, so we're good. My power settings for my station, we were all doing different stuff, but mine were, I was at 3.5 on my front lights and 4.0 on the back lights. But I was varying my A power output depending on how darkly complected or light complected each kid was. So if it was a dark complected child, I would go to 3.9 or I'd go up to 4.2 depending on how dark they were. And then when I had like a Caucasian kid come back in, I would just drop it back down to 3.5. So 3.5 was my base exposure. One of the things that's great about the Westcott system with the groups and the channels is that you're able to kind of increase the output of the lights in the front, but not change the lighting in the background or the background light itself. So it's really cool. You can kind of keep consistency for your background, even as you change the foreground lights that are hitting them in the face. It's kind of nice. So it's just interesting to see from the back. So there's a lot of gear here. So all the different background setups, all the seamless. We've got 5 seamless in use today. It's pretty much a factory, basically. And then what we're doing, usually I am very particular and I have a style with my lighting. That's not what today is about. Today is a factory. We're like literally making massive work happen. And effectively what we're doing is we've used David's lighting setup that he wanted to use, and then we've done 3 times that. And then at the very end, we'll go down here. They're getting ready to do a group shot, which is kind of a good timing. So this is Eddie. He's our 3rd shooter. So Eddie's he's doing through poses. You can see the placard there. Pose number 1, pose number 2, and then 3 and 4 they get to pick. We used a total of 8
of what Westcott calls the 53-inch silver bounce umbrellas. And we left the black fabric on, and we're taking advantage of, it's kind of a satin finish on the inside. It's really nice. It's not quite silver, so it's not so harsh, but it's also not gonna be like white where it would eat up all that light. So we had a lot of output out of those umbrellas. They work great.
So that's kind of how we're doing that. And then down here, we've got the group shot set up. So we're clicking, man. And again, all the lights that are usually, that you see AC plugged into, those are lights that we're using the modeling lamps on. So we can just see better, helps the autofocus kick in better and more accurate and stuff like that. So that's really it. But yeah, we're down in Texas, and man, it's gonna be a long day. We got in here at 7:30 this morning. We don't expect to leave till 5:30 tonight. So we're just gonna be cranking 41 teams. It's a ton of images. So I'm glad I don't have to edit it or do any of that toning. It's so cool. I just get in a plane and go home.
I also want to mention that the A lights in my setup, I can only speak to my setup, but the A lights in my setup the battery level never dropped below full the entire day. So from 7, well, we got going about 9 a.m. So from 9 to 4:30 continuously we were shooting. Because we were plugged into AC, they never dropped. But my backlights didn't drop either. And I had one FJ400 original, and I had a FJ400 2 in the back. I had one of each, and neither one of them came off full. And of course I was only 3.5, but still all day long, hammer and hammer, hammer. It was great. The only other thing I wanted to say too is that Westcott's system is truly multi-camera. So I was a Sony shooter, obviously, but there were 2 Canon shooters in there. And we were all working great together, consistently putting out the same result. It was very, very good. Last I wanted to say, you might wonder, well, what camera did you use? Because you guys all know I have A1s and A1 and I have A9 3s. No, I used the A7C Mark II because it's super light. The lens I used for my entire day was the 24-105 f4. It's a really, really good lens, and sometimes I had to go wide to shoot like a group of kids, but most of the time I was at between 100 and 80 or somewhere in there, depending on how tall they were, how small they were. The little kids, I would have to go all the way to 105 and then move my chair up a little bit, but it was pretty cool. But yeah, this setup was great because you can do it all day. One last thing I want to mention is that my trigger, this is the FJ-X3S. This has now been replaced by the new trigger, but this trigger went all day long, and I ended up ending the day with 2 bars left on the battery level. So, not only is the Westcott stuff great in terms of giving very consistent color temperature and power output, but the batteries are just so efficient combined with the unit itself. It's just a great system. If you're not using the Westcott stuff, reach out to me because I'd love to help you get into it. It's awesome gear. It really is. I know a lot of people are using Godox, but this stuff is actually sold in Toledo, Ohio. They support what they sell. They have awesome warranty service. They have magical level support. There's an 800 number. Someone always answers the phone during business hours. It's just an incredible company that is here to support photographers who are out there working every day, slaving away, just like we did all day yesterday.
Thanks, Westcott, for making such great product. We love your stuff.